go. Okay, so where's my chat box is what I want to know. There we go. Might have what, baby? I don't know. You gotta press the OK button. Mm-hmm. Or just press yes. Hey, chubby boy. You always making me blush. Hey, senor. New layout a little bit. Maybe I am not gonna crap out like I have been these last couple of times. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's expand this out a little bit so I can see it. And I need to pull up my notes. One sec. Need to go drop this on my iPad. And we're about to get started. Be patient. Sorry I'm late. I was watching the end of AAA because I did not expect El Grande Americano Original to pop up and beat up El Grande Americano. Say that 3 times fast. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Yeah, I know. You can see there's no camera. Okay, so where is my stuff? Come on. Send it. I need it. DJ Scott said it's my birthday. Can you say happy birthday to me? Well, happy birthday, DJ Scott. Nice of you to join. Ah, there we go. Finally. Oh my gosh. I have been plagued with so many issues, but hopefully now I'm settled. Yep, happy birthday. I don't know who this guy on kick is, but hi to everybody. We're going to talk a lot. I am noticing things, so let's kind of get started, shall we? We're going to do some Breath of Fire. And Eichmann, happy future birthday to you as well. So, welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day. Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, JD, Roxanne, Poor Carlito, El Grande Americano, El Grande Americano Original, as we just saw, Los Americanos, and AEW 2, even though that's kind of fallen off by the wayside. We are live tonight. I was going to come on earlier after Dom little spiel there in the beginning, but then El Grande Americano Original popped up, so that threw off my plans. So I apologize for being late, but I wanted to watch that and get my thoughts down before I go into everything else. So here's the plan for tonight. We're going to be breaking down AAA. We're going to be breaking down SmackDown because we have a lot of receipts from SmackDown. we do have some nice big conversations regarding Dom and his presentation, because if y'all have been watching Dom, the presentation from Dom on AAA is a lot different than what we saw on Monday Night Raw, and I don't like it. Tonight we're still continuing Breath of Fire 4. Hopefully now I can see if I can find this piece of equipment so I can advance the storyline, because I got stuck the last time, if anybody remembers. Um, so the tea is hot. We're gonna be keeping it about booking because I am keeping out of fandom wars right now. And prepare yourself, folks. I'm gonna drop a little bombshell on a couple of people. So on TikTok, say what's up. And y'all on YouTube, say happy birthday to our birthday folks. And give me one word to describe Dom tonight on YouTube. So, what is my bombshell? It finally happened. The moment that I have to wipe my hands of a certain couple. A moment I thought it would happen on a bigger stage, instead it happened on a Monday Night Raw. I can't be a Liv Dom fan any longer. And this isn't sudden. This is how it always happens for me. A few small moments stacking on top of each other until the story tells on itself. With Rhea and Dom, it started with the ultimatum, the shifting dynamics, the flirting with Jay in front of Dom's face, how Dom couldn't hook up with Santos to go after his deadbeat dad. And it ended when Dom was used purely to heat up a Rhea and Becky feud while gaining nothing for himself. And now, I'm seeing it happen again. History is repeating. With Liv and Dom, two moments made me jump ship. The first was the second slap angle on Monday Night Raw, right after Survivor Series. Because we were told Liv Dom was going to be different, healthier, and not built on the humiliation the way Rhea and Dom was. The final straw came when Dom returned from injury to introduce Liv as the Royal Rumble member and nothing else. While Dom wasn't gone as long as Liv was injury-wise, his return amounted to being a wet fart. He had no statement, he had no agenda, no Finn confrontation, no CM Punk confrontation. Just slipping right back into the boyfriend role that he had with Rhea. And I sat there thinking, while I was about to be pissed off about Raquel later on in the night, where was Dom's moment? Liv returned like a main character at Survivor Series. Dom returned like he was a prop. Now, I know people will say, you're finally showing your true colors, Ryder Maven. You were always against Liv Dom. You turned, you changed. This is nothing new. But the truth is simple. I was never against Liv Dom. I was just following the clues the way the WWE tells its stories. And everybody who knows me, who's followed me over these years, knows that I love drama and messiness. So, of course, I'm going to be more interested in the drama and messiness. But I was never against Liv Dom. I never turned on Liv Dom. What I had with Liv Dom wasn't hate. It's just pattern recognition. And I have a lot more clues to share with you guys that people have been missing. But I can't support a direction that turns a double champion, the only double champion now after Ethan Page lost his mixed tag championships to Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice, into emotional furniture. Dominik Mysterio deserves better than being just the boyfriend. And Liv deserves better than having a story that just orbits one dynamic. So lock in, folks. We got a lot to talk about. So, let's get on some Breath of Fire 4. Let's see where I can get. And we're going to talk a little bit, shall we? So Triple A surprised me. I did not know, or I did not realize that we were going to get that nice little added bit with Dom and El Grande Americano. Dos. I guess I have to now call him Dos now. Well, El Grande, whereas we have El Grande Americano Original, so I guess we can just call the sec Dos like just Joe Blow El Grande Americano. But I have to say that Dom's persecution complex is something else, and I'm going to get into that later. Let's go. Let's see if we can get some stuff. Of course. Oh, I got some new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, Daniel, and thank you, Ashley G, for subscribing to me. I'm going to adjust the volume. Please let me know if you can't hear me. I'm going to adjust this sound because this sound could get really, really loud. Okay, so where was I? Okay. I have to get used to these controls again. Okay, go. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, at least I'm getting some croc tears. Let's see. Oh, there's a nice little chest right there. Huh. Yeah, man. Okay. Let's see if I can get this thing here. Yeah, I need that for this dude. Okay. And let's go back up here. Okay, so now let's see. Go to the left, to the left, to the left. Everybody put their bluff to the left. That was nice of you. Okay. So, let's get into a little bit of some AAA, shall we? Old Dirty Dom makes his return back to AAA, if my iPad will not mess up on me. And he talks his shit. Now, this is the Dom that we complain about not showing up in the WWE. Like Dom has swagger. He's talking his shit, saying like he pretty much owns AAA, that he runs AAA. And he just has the swagger. Like we don't see this, and how come we didn't see this on Monday Night Raw? And I will get into this later on why this is a problem. But like he has all this swagger. Um, then we get Vikingo and Omas and what's his name? I can't place his name. I know he did. He's like the son of Marcella, the lady that I aspired to be when I grew up. Um, they're talking shit. Dom saying he's pretty much going to beat Vikingo in front of his entire family, and Rey Mysterio on commentary translating Dom's words was just amazing and hilarious because he had to say like he had to like pretty much say what Dom was saying through gritted teeth. So we hear Bray translating for Dom. I loved it. And what was interesting is that Vikingo says that he wants to Dom to put his hair on the line at their title match in March. And that is very interesting. Um and Vikingo says I'll give you 2 weeks to think about it and make your decision, and then they all walk off. Now it's very interesting if Dom will probably accept this, but it's really interesting if Dom either wins this or loses this. Because Dom, I can see Dom winning because they don't want Dom to cut his hair just yet. But I can also see the WWE do a humiliation Congo with Dom and just have him shave his hair too, like to set up other stuff in the future. Like I can totally see that. It's the WWE. They've done this stuff before. Like it's nothing new. So we could see Dom like lose his hair into at I think that's at Rhea-era. So we could see that happening. Like don't think that Dom won't do it. I mean, or at least the WWE won't do it. Like they will totally will. Um. Oh, my TikTok followers here. Senior said, "Did you see Liv's interview with CJ Perry this week?" I've been seeing a lot of different interviews, so you got to remind me what he said, what she said on that interview, Senior. Khalid says, Liv said that Raquel lost the match and her and Roxanne had nothing to do with it. No, she came out there without provocation. Like, Roxanne, you can give a pass on because Raquel did not say Roxanne to be out there, and she didn't really say that Dom didn't need to be out there either. So, it was just Liv specifically. Senor says, do you think Dom and OG Grande Americana are working again? And I think they are because that was who Dom hooked up with the mask with too before Ludwig came around. Or the artist formerly known as what Ludwig Kaiser came around. So this is just keeping all us in that wheelhouse of long-term storytelling. Like Dom was talking to Chad Gable, he was talking to Ludwig, he was talking to Pete Dunne. So all of that is connecting, and it's really, really scary how Triple H strung that all together. I'm not sure if that was by accident or not, but he did it. Senor says, I predict Dom is no longer in the WWE when his contract expires. I mean, he might, but I think he signed an extension like last year, so he's going to be around for a little bit. Going back to AAA. Of course, if I can get my note up. We also had after this, like after, oh, we did see Lola Vice and Mystery Iguana win the mixed tag team champions, and I know people are going to say, well, Dom and Liv could win that. You know what? I kind of want Dom and Liv to stay away from that. That's like secondary belts that can be used to be built up somebody else. Like, no. If you want Liv to win Rhea-era, then that's fine. Get it off of Flammer. Somebody needs to get that belt off of Flammer. Um, and then after this mixed tag, Dom comes up on El Grande Americano Ludwig edition and asks, like, why did you shake my deadbeat dad's hand? Now, first of all, Dominic, I love you. I'm your ride or die. I love you through all your rights and your wrongs. You know me. I love you to death. I love you, Dom. However, dude, what kind of persecution complex is this? You, my man, pushed El Grande Americano away after y'all lost to Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix in December. So why are you upset after you shoved El Grande Americano away? You did, Dom. You shoved El Grande Americano away. Why will you be upset if he shook Rey's hand? Like, are you just expecting like El Grande Americano to just get over, just get over you shoving him away, and he's not supposed to shake Rey's hand? Like, what did you expect, Dom? This is like the same thing that I had with Dom when Dom was complaining about where was Finn, where was JD, when he lost the Intercontinental Championships the first time. Like, dude, what did you expect? Like, you know, you were having issues with Finn and JD. Like, you did that, Dom. You were causing stuff too. Like, everybody's doing shit to each other during the, in this build up to Survivor Series. Like, that's what I get with Dom sometimes, and I love him, but when he does that, it just makes me just shake my head. Like, dude, like, what did you expect? What did you expect? He does the same similar complaining like when he lost the North American Championship the second time too, so it should be par for the course. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, okay, come on, dude. Um, Khalib said, "Yet Liv was taking a picture away, and you got mad and tweeted about it." When did I? I didn't tweet about it. I was getting mad about people dragging Raquel and Dom for like taking pictures with ops. Like, Dom got dragged for taking a picture with Nikki, and then Raquel got dragged for taking a picture with Zelina and what was it, Rhea? But I didn't drag this last one because I don't want to be in this fandom discourse anymore. I'm like pulling so hard away from fandom discourse right now, so I haven't really been saying like. I've said it personally to some friends of mine that was taking pictures with the ops, but like I wasn't going to be saying it like publicly on my channel. Oh, Khalib says not you, Dom. Oh, okay. Did he get mad at that, Khalib? I know I've been watching Dom's social media activity ultra hard. So I guess you can take it like that's kind of outside of kayfabe, but still, your point stands, Khalib. But yeah, he was like just going after El Grande Americano for just like, why'd you shake my deadbeat dad's hand? And I'm like, dude, what did you expect? And then we get El Grande Americano Original comes out and attacks El Grande and then handcuffs him. And then El Grande proceeds to take his place in the match for the Rey de Reyes. And he wins it by using that loaded disc. And this is when El Grande Americano gets freed by Los Americanos. So they were down there too. So Los Americanos frees El Grande Americano. And then El Grande Americano runs down to the ring after El Grande Americano Original wins and pretty much chases him off. The crowd was not having El Grande Americano Original, so I actually like that they recognize that that's original and this is El Grande, and this is their version of El Grande Americano. So I really like that. I'm also really liking that Dom is working with El Grande Americano Original because that firmly seats him as the heel. This is what I keep saying, that Dom is still showing his heel tendencies. There you go. He's still being a heel. More rudo, but in like lucha libre parlance, but he is still being the heel. Like, we're not seeing like any kind of indication that he's wanting to go face anytime soon. Senor says Finn said goodbye to AJ hurts me. Like, yeah, like Finn saying that. Yeah, that's Bullet Club for life. So, yeah, just seeing that hurts. Senor said, why Roxanne wasn't there last night? Um, I'm guessing she was used to sell the table spot because she did do that table spot, even though we did not see it, which I was really pissed off about. But I'm guessing it's more like they're keeping her away from Liv and Raquel because they want to build up Liv and Raquel and they want to probably put Roxanne in the middle. But I do say, and I will get into that, I think Roxanne's bit needs to start happening. Her storyline part needs to start happening really soon. Whether she's with Dom or not, something needs to happen with Roxanne because she shouldn't be on the periphery like this. I don't really like that for her. Jason says, "Is this Breath of Fire 4?" Yes, it is. I am playing it. I talk wrestling, and I play a little bit, and then I talk wrestling, and I play a little bit. I'm going to start back soon, but because I am covering AAA, but I'm going to go back into it pretty soon. Um, 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 yeah. So next up is SmackDown. I'm going to play a little bit more of Breath of Fire, and hopefully I can find this little bit because this has been working me. But yeah, we're going to talk SmackDown after this. So let us get back into it, shall we? Oh, I need to go back this way. What am I doing? Oh, let's see. Oh, uh-oh. Mina, I don't have no stuff for you. Uh-oh. I've been using too much of Mina's magic. Uh-oh. Okay. I would actually play Breath of Fire 2, but that game is very tedious. Like, I played that Breath of Fire 2 when it was on Super Nintendo, and I actually still have the cartridge on my Super Nintendo. Shows how old I am. And it's just, it's very, very tedious. Like, I have to play that game with like a Game Genie or some kind of cheating thing because if it's just like original recipe, Breath of Fire 2, because I love the storyline. Like, love, 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 love the storyline. Like, this was very, like, daring during the time where Nintendo of America would censor everything. So, stepping on the anchor will debate it. So, Breath of Fire 2 was really nice. And it gave us the best characters like Cat and Bo. Okay, let me go equip that. Okay, now I made it back to this dude. I'm gonna pause it here because I need to look out what I need to do. Senor says, I feel like Raquel is gonna cost probably Liv or what you're talking about there, and I that's one of the possibilities. Like I put out four possibilities that what Raquel could do, and they all look like a loss, except for the fourth one, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Let me check something because I need my chat for YouTube disappeared. Oh no. So who is this person? Michelle Williams says nobody takes you seriously no more. You're just an undercover live hater. That's why channel doesn't get no views. Like, okay, seriously. Like, my view count speaks for itself. My Raquel video was getting thousands of views. Like, cut the cap. Second of all, it's not being an undercover lib hater. It's just hating that Dom is getting pushed into this boyfriend position. And considering what happened on the X today, when a certain someone got exposed that people were all just saying that they were right about, I think I'm more right than wrong. And I'm not going to address that action any further. So, yeah. So, Michelle, you can suck it. And I said what I said. So let's talk SmackDown, shall we? Okay, so SmackDown, we had Liv and Raquel pop up. Now, I got some inside scoop from Sean Ross Sapp saying that Liv and Roxanne were going to be involved and they were going to have a match with Jordaynne and Jordan. So I was spoiled, let all my friends know, and we were watching that. Um, while Rhea and Io were being interviewed by Saves, Liv and Raquel pull up. Peep that Raquel was wearing JD's merch. She was wearing his shirt. I'm not sure if that's a clue that JD is imminent to return back into Judgment Day drama, or she just wants to rep her man shirt because we always said that that was her man. But I love that she was wearing JD's shirt there. Um, Later on, we get Nick Aldis introducing Liv in the ring as the Royal Rumble winner. She goes into the greatest of all time spiel, and it's starting to sound like Bianca's EST gimmick. Like, seriously, she was going, I am the greatest, this, and I was like, okay, are we channeling Bianca here? Is this a clue or something? Liv then says that she wants to address the elephant in the room, Raquel. And then Raquel takes the mic and says that she wants to address it. And before Raquel can talk, Jade's music hits and cuts her off. So we don't get her addressing the elephant in the room, so boo. Um, Jade then says, like, to Liv, if you choose me, I'm beating that ass at WrestleMania. Raquel is me mugging Jade the whole time. Jade is rears back on her saying, what the hell are you looking at? And Liv jumps in saying, be careful, I could choose Stephanie and let Raquel take your title. Keep that in the back of your mind for a little bit. This is when Jordan Grace comes out, congratulates Liz, and says that she might be the one facing her in Vegas. Liv starts back up the GOAT speech again, and Jordan Grace hit Liv with the shut up bitch. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. That was super hilarious. And they all start arguing, and then Alice makes the tag match. They're still teasing some Rio, Io, Liv, Raquel stuff here. That's to be expected. Raquel was in JD's merch, like I said, is really interesting. Hopefully that means JD is on his way back. Liv is kind of seemed like she was copying that EST vibe. I'm not sure if that's intentional or a clue, like the JD merch. It's just that really stuck out there. Liv keeps trying to control the narrative, Raquel. Like she's trying to put it out there, like, oh, gaslighting her pretty much. And Raquel right now seems like she's not having it. Jade and Raquel have some tension, and this could be a misdirection. More on that in a bit. And then, as noted, or what that I noted like today actually, that Liv didn't mention Dom at all, despite him introducing her on Monday. So there. Then we get into the tag team match, and I need to see Jade and Raquel fight again, like seriously, one on one. I saw a lot of their interactions during the break. I'm not sure the United States audience saw it, but I was watching the UK feed, and I need to see them go at it again. I liked what I saw. The finish comes with double accidental kicks. Jade accidentally kicks Jordan Grace's head off, and then Raquel kicks Liv's head off, and that kick was cathartic as fuck. This leads to Jordan pinning Raquel due to the distraction, and Liv and Raquel stare down each other afterwards. Now, I don't like Raquel taking a pin. I don't like her taking a loss. Like, she just lost on Monday, and she lost here, so, like, I know that you're not going to have Liv, and you're not going to have Jade lose, but I really don't like Raquel losing. But she got to kick Liv's head off, so I guess that compensates for it. Now, here's a possible path that we can see. We could see Raquel win the Elimination Chamber because remember, Triple H said that the winner could choose any champion. It's not just for the opposite brand anymore. So you could see Raquel win the Elimination Chamber. Everyone thinks she's going to pick Jade because Liv is kind of putting it out there like, hey, I can go for Stephanie and you could go for Jade. Kind of put it out there where she's constantly distracting Raquel with all this, like putting it in her head, and then we'll have the misdirection of Jade and Raquel having tension. And then everybody thinks she's going to pick Jade, and then this is when Raquel says, "Now, I'm going after Liv," and then she makes that a triple threat match. Now I know people would be pissed about it. Liv deserves a single one-on-one match. Yeah, I mean the story is Liv and Raquel. Stephanie does not have that heat. I'm sorry. This is why I said the match should have been Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. Because Stephanie right now, she's not fitting into this. Like, she didn't even show up on SmackDown. Like, if Stephanie had showed up on SmackDown to maybe start some stuff with Liv, maybe cost her the match, then, you could start building a feud there. But the feud, the history, the heat, is with Liv and Raquel. So Raquel is going to be doing all this heavy work, kind of like how Dom has to do all the heavy work a lot of the times, to give heat to a feud or a match that doesn't even involve them right now. And I always hate that when they do that. They always use somebody else to give the feud or the match some heat, and then they don't even get involved in the outcome any kind of way. So hopefully Raquel gets involved. I don't want her to go all the way down where she's not in any kind of match at WrestleMania and then she costs Liv. I mean, that could happen. I mean, and I wouldn't put it past the WWE, but if Raquel is going to lose or something like that, I'd rather her just lose at WrestleMania. Put it that way. I don't want her just on the outside looking in after all this work, after she held it down while Liv was injured. She held down the main event scene. Everybody else was involved with tag. It was Raquel doing all the work for that. And she needs to be rewarded. And did Raquel hit Liv accidentally or accidentally on purpose? it's hard to tell. I mean, maybe she was following Dom's footsteps on the accidentally on purpose. Now I know some people were going to compare this to Dom, where Raquel, hit Dom like last year with her kick. First with the Dom hit, it was always that was mostly an accident. So nothing got came out of it, and Dom wasn't upset about it. We didn't get any kind of follow through with that. Nothing came about that kick. That was just like one of those things where Dom gets hit. He feels that role all the time. This time though, this hit comes after Liv eliminated her after the Royal Rumble, and she pretty much cost her match on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, there's gonna be something more to this kick than Raquel's kick with this. So this is no connected dots. That kick with Dom happened last year, and it's obvious that the storyline flips some kind of way. It's not what we were getting last year is not what we're getting now. Yeah, I said I'm not sit on that one. Senor says, I'm praying for JD to win the Andre the Giant Brown role. I want him to get something. He should be in singles title competition. Contention. Um, Senor says the Jacquel crumbs feel so good. Yes, they do. Like, they needed to be a couple. Like, as soon as Carlito exited, my poor Carlito, Caribbean cool. Like, as soon as he exited the WWE, like, they should have just went full force with JD and Raquel. Like, I love them. They have a chemistry, with them. I don't know what it is, but I love them together. Um, let's see. Let me see here. I'm gonna take a picture here. Get some evidence. And I'm gonna get into the whole boyfriend thing with Dom. And some more clues that we got. But I have to take some screenshot evidence. One sec. And let's see. Let me see something here. I need to check something. One moment, guys. Alright, so there's that. Let me see here. Okay. One second. Here. Let's see here. And you're gone, Michelle. Bye bye. So you're going. I just want to see who you are. Okay. Yep. Yep. You're gone. Bye bye. Okay, let's keep going, shall we? Let me look up what I need to do with this dude. Okay, so I have no idea what this metal piece is. Okay, let's see. How do I find these sandflower pieces? Because this is where I got stuck. 3 steps down from the barrel. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can do. Let's see. Looking for parts. Looking for that. There's plenty of that here. Yeah, just give me the shovel. Okay. Yeah. Alright. 3 steps down for the barrel. Three steps down? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Why? Oh, thank goodness. How many stuff is there? Do I need just one ship part? You know, I'm not gonna look for anything else. Yes. This thing took me forever the last time. Ugh. Yeah. Ah. Alright, so go here, 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 here. Oh, let's go here. Ah, yeah, yeah. Ah, finally. Bless you. Okay. Time to save that since I actually got the part. Ah. Oh, this perspective. Actually, let me find the inn. Yep, there we go. Go heal for a little bit. Yep, save, 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 save. There we go. Alright, so now I gotta go. Who is that? Oh, it's Big Boy. Hey, Big Boy. Nice of you to join us. Okay, that's the beginning. I hate this. There. Okay. Okay. Well, not good thing I saved. Okay, so. Well, I'd try a little bit more cooperative if I were you. Oh, good grief, dude. Otherwise, things might get a little uncomfortable. And the lady's just still over there smoking. Like, Stu gets blasted, she's still smoking. That's something. And we would want that to happen now, would we? Nina, come on now. Yeah, just walk right into it, why don't you? Just try to hide things. Besides, the war's not over. There's been a ceasefire call. That's it. Or that's all. We've been sent out to find a dragon. That we found a little bird instead. Oh boy. Okay. Nina, this is why you don't get into stuff like this. Oh, it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots time. Or is it Pikachu, I choose you? I don't know. Yeah, it's Rock'em Sock'em. It's Rock'em Sock'em a little bit. It's okay. Mina, really, I gotta do this by myself. Okay. Might take a couple more hits on that. Really, he is. Okay. Oh, I got a comment, but I'll get to you in just a second. Yeah, cool. Nice one, Nina. Yeah, man. Level up. Thank you, Ryu. Well, you talk too much. All right. Before I start running, and I don't know what I'm going to be running to, let's let's get into a little bit more. Big Big Boy says, I was just watching AAA earlier. Dom looking like he's the guy on that show. Main roster, that's another story. Unless they're putting most of the focus on the latest of Judgment Day. See, this is what I was bringing up earlier, and I'm going to get into it, Big Boy, because there is a distinct difference. Now, we really thought he was starting to merge up AAA Dom and WWE Dom last year because it was slowly starting to come around. Like he was getting really smart. He was, hanging out with Del Grande, making his own moves, things like that. And then the second Liv return. Now, people are going to consider this hate, but I'm not hating. This is just a pattern that happens with Dom. As soon as Liv returns, he takes a back seat. At the time, it was fine because the ladies needed to establish themselves. Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv. I really had no problem with it, but Finn and Dom took a back seat, especially with JD when he was injured. So they took a back seat to establish the Raquel, Liv, and Roxanne, and that's fine. But it gets aggravating because now he took such a back seat. Like he returned on Monday, not doing anything, and it shouldn't have been like that. Like where was his grand return? Like I said, like even though he wasn't out for long for his injury, like he could have showed up in a big way. He didn't have to just show up for Liv, and that's the infuriating part with Dom. And this is what happened with Rhea because I bring the receipts, and I'm gonna tell you about how this is all similar to how what happened with Dom when Rhea was building up to her match with Becky after Elimination Chamber 2024. So we're gonna get all the facts on the table. SmackDown showed us um, how the WWE is presenting Dom and Liv. Like Liv didn't mention him at all. Like Dom does, returns from out of nowhere, addresses Liv as his garita, all that, and then he barely gets a mention on SmackDown. Like, come on now. I know she's wearing his merch. That's completely different. Everybody wears everybody's merch. Triple A showed us what Dom looks like when he's not in this box. Like Big Boy says, he is a completely different person, and we thought this was going to mesh up well, but it's not. So we're going to go talk into the pattern. Liv Morgan came back from injury like a main character walking into the season finale. She had a clear purpose and a clear edge. She was given the grand stage at Survivor Series. She returned, she kicks John Cena in the dick, and ensures Dom wins the Intercontinental Championship again. Dom comes back from injury with a whimper. He didn't do no Finn confrontation. There was no response to CM Punk, and he was just there standing next to Liv. He gives Raquel a hug and kind of co-signs what Liv says a little bit, and that's it. Where was Liv's return energy for Dom? Dom could have returned in an explosive way, yet all he received was scraps. And let's connect some more dots. Let's go all the way back to the Raw after Elimination Chamber in 2024. Dom introduces Rhea to the audience. Sound familiar? While Rhea was being treated like a star, Dom was stuck in a goofy R-Truth angle, which I can't stand to this day. He was on a losing streak that he didn't snap until 2025, and he had no real feuds of his own. And then Dom's nuclear heat, when he was actually getting booed out the building like Don Callis, was used to prop up Rhea and Becky's feud. And at the end of this era, Dom had just become a function. He would take the bumps. Like he took Becky Lynch's sucker punch, which is why I do not like how Dom always takes these hits from the women. Like he never gets the leg back on the girls. And if they're not going to let the guys hit the girls like they do in AEW, at least you know in AEW that you're going to get hit one of these days. But they don't do this in WWE, and I can't stand it. So he was taking the bumps. He was taking the hits. He was using his heat was being siphoned off to build up somebody else. It was infuriating. And if you were a Dom fan during that time, you know how infuriating and frustrating that whole timeline was at the time. It was horrendous. And we're getting the same beats back now this year. The feuds are revolving around Liv. Liv with Raquel. Liv with Stephanie. Liv possibly with Roxanne. Liv with Finn. She pretty much almost co-opted Dom's feud with Finn. So you got Liv and Finn having beef, but not Dom, even though Dom and Finn were the ones that had their feud stalled for over a year. It's a different partner, same script. It's the same thing happening again. So this is my receipt to you. Go back and watch the build for Elimination Chamber 2024 with Dom and what was going on with Judgment Day when Rhea was separated from Dom. And then watch after that, where this is before Liv Dom Summer and before Liv Dom got going. So go back and watch that little area there and compare it to now. The comparisons are startling. And it's just so really, really aggravating as a Dom fan when you see this that continues to happen with Dom. All this time, it just happens with him. Like, where is this Bonnie and Clyde era? Like, people keep wanting to say, oh, they're going to be Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, they're going to be natural born killers. When is that going to happen? Everything I've seen thus far is for Liv. And yeah, you had to allow for a couple weeks here or there for Liv to get established again. And yeah, Dom was injured. But there was so much stuff they could have done before Dom was injured to establish any kind of Bonnie and Clyde. And they haven't done it. So let's bring this back to the present day. Dom could have done 3 things on Raw, which could have mitigated things. First, he could have checked Finn. Like, after Finn has that amazing video promo, you could have had Dom, if Finn wasn't there, Dom just grousing kind of like how he was grousing with El Grande Americano tonight. Like, just, have him be frustrated or angry that Finn allowed CM Punk to call him garbage. Like, something simple. It's not much, but it's something, and it establishes Dom with his own feud and his own storyline. That should have happened. Or you could have done this. Have Dom run out there when CM Punk and Roman Reigns were beefing. Have him come out and interrupt. That's main character energy. That could have put him in the main event scene. He could have checked CM Punk for calling him garbage. He could be talking shit to Roman Reigns. And then this would have stepped on Finn's toes because Finn is trying to establish himself with CM Punk and get his title match. But then here comes Dom. That could have done a lot for Dom and Finn's eventual feud. Dom steps on Finn's toes. Dom gets in CM Punk's face and establishes that future feud. And then that could have set up a future feud with Roman Reigns if they wanted to. But they never did do this. And there's option number 3, the Bunny and Clyde era. You know how I just said that we don't seem like it's that we're getting any kind of Bonnie and Clyde? Where this is how they could have set up Bunny and Clyde. During Raquel and Stephanie's match, instead of using Liv to get the belt and distract Raquel, do Dom. Because Dom wasn't told to stay in the back. This was Liv. So you use Dom. Have Dom come out there, use the distraction with the belt, and then when Raquel loses, then Liv could come in, hit the Oblivion on Stephanie, and then Dom and Liv stand tall in the ring. You see what I mean? So it's a collaboration between Dom and Liv. And now I know people are saying, well, Dom shouldn't be involved with the women's matches. Well, if you're going to be wanting to get some kind of Dom and Liv and Bonnie and Clyde Natural Born Killer storyline, he's going to be involved in some kind of way. Same thing with Liv with his storylines. So if you're going to be doing that, then that was been the way to do it. Then you could have had Raquel be upset with Dom and Liv. But right now it just looks like it's just going to be Liv. And it looks like Liv is doing this on her own. Kind of like how in AAA is Dom on his own. You see how separated they are? You have Dom doing his thing in AAA. And then you got Liv doing her thing now with this Royal Rumble stuff. So they just feel very, very separated at this moment. But instead of getting any kind of traction going with Dom's storylines on Monday Night Raw, he did nothing. And after I had cooled down with Raquel and how she was treated, because I was hot on Monday because I do really think that she should have won that. It came to I finally realized that Dom had nothing to do. And that was just really, really, and I just like, okay, we're just doing this again with Dom. So we're just repeating history. And if we're gonna be repeating history, then something else is gonna come up down the line. And you know what I'm talking about. Senor says, I can't wait for the announcement for Raw. Which announcement? Is it Elimination Chamber? Senor says, what is Dom going to do at Elimination Chamber? See, that's another thing, too. Like, what is Dom going to do at Elimination Chamber? Is he going to put up his title belt? Is he just going to be hanging around? He's going to be in the Elimination Chamber? Like, what does he do? Senora says, still miss Naomi. I do too, and I think she's in her like last months of pregnancy, and I really hope that she's having a nice pregnancy. Nothing's wrong with her, and she has a healthy baby soon. Khalib says, do you think that Finn is going to take the title of CM Punk? See, this is another thing with Finn, and I'm going to get into Finn too. But with Finn, it's so obvious that he's like a stopgap because they did all this announcement for Roman Reigns and CM Punk at WrestleMania, and then you got Finn here where you know that he's not going to win that match. Now, if they wanted to surprise somebody, they could have Finn win that title off of CM Punk, but I doubt it, unless Finn forces his way into the match, kind of like Daniel Bryan did, but I doubt it. So you're just using Finn to get CM Punk a match in Elimination Chamber because Roman Reigns is going to be gone for another month. And I really hate that for Finn. Like, Finn doesn't deserve that. Like, he's reestablished himself, and then here you come using him as a speed bump to get to CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Senor says, now I need to see Roxanne wear some of Finn's merch. I think she usually wears her own, but it would be interesting if she started wearing some of the guys' merch. Senor says, Dom was a jobber in 2024. And I hated every second of that. That burned, like, as a Dom fan. Like, every match we went into with Dom, we just hoped that he would win. He would just end up losing most of the time. Um, Khalib says he could have confronted Liv for letting Punk call him trash and hanging out. Right. Yeah, see, that's the thing too. That's what I said on my little short. Like, he could have gently, I'm not saying he should have just went balls out and accused Liv. Like, he could have just been like, "Hey Liv, why did you not check Finn for letting CM Punk call me garbage?" Do something like that. I mean, it's a fair question. I'm not just saying, like, you can have strife and stuff in your relationship. Not everything is going to be peaches and cream. So, you can do things like that. I mean, how many times did we see Rhea and Dom have issues before they finally got to SummerSlam 2024? Like, they had their issues too, and they didn't break up. So it's just aggravating that that just gets the slide. And swinging it back around to Liv, because people were saying, like, how come, because they were saying, like, why would Liv check Finn about that? Because Liv was the one that said that she sees everything. So if she knew that Finn was talking to CM Punk, then she obviously heard CM Punk call Dom garbage. So why wouldn't she check Finn for not calling out Punk for calling Dom garbage? You see what I mean? You can't establish Liv as being all knowing and knowing everything, and she watches everything and she knows everything and things like that, and then excuse, when she could have checked Finn. Like, it would have been something simple, like run up on Finn, like, "Hey, why did you let Punk call Dom garbage?" Simple. Instead, it was both Finn and Liv that let that comment slide, and that's probably what Dom was doing about last week when he posted that he didn't trust anybody. Oh, and I have to get into Dom's social media activity too in a little bit, but you see how everything is coming around again with um, Dom's behavior. So, you have your stepdad and your girlfriend that let a comment slide regarding what Punk said about him, and we're just supposed, that we're just going to expect everything is just going to be fine. Big Boy says, still not a fan of Rhea hijacking EO um, storyline. It reminded me of what happened with Liv and Dom back in 2024, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I agree with you, Big Boy, on that. I do not like how Rhea just really hijacked the EO and Asuka thing. We have EO, Asuka, and Kairi. Kyrie could be on the cusp of becoming a major baby face, breaking free of Asuka's abuse and all that. But we could have had a nice storyline feud with Asuka, Io, and Kyrie, and then Rhea just gets in there and then just takes it, and it's just Io and, like, this, emoting character now, and that's it. Where's the storyline? And I do hate that for Rio. Like, we could have had something nice and special between, like, using what happens with Japan, like what happens with the wrestling scene there, what they, their whole structure, all that. We could have gotten something from that, and then no, we just gotta, get Rhea. So I see your point there, big boy. Big Boy says, I've been noticed that they've been having Liv and Rhea in the same area as of late. I said it would be so easy to have Liv through brutality come up again if they decide, if because people don't want to listen half the time. If they to go with Dom betraying Liv, they can totally go with Liv through brutality again. It'd be so simple. Because you can have it where instead of Rhea being like, "I told you so," you could come from a place of sympathy because he went through it with Dom. So, they could totally do that. Big Boy said, and they tried to say Rhea had a bad 2025. Like, no, she didn't. She just got pinned. This is probably the most that she's been pinned in 2025, but she did not have a bad year. You want to see who had a bad year? Roxanne. Roxanne. had a bad year. This is why I was so annoyed when people were saying, "Oh, Liv is losing. She's going to win Royal Rumble." Yeah, I mean, yeah, she won the Royal Rumble, but it wasn't Liv taking these losses. It was Roxanne. That's who I feel sorry for. She was the one getting pinned. She's the one that seems like her storyline has gotten cut off now. That's why I'm saying I'm really hoping whatever happens with Roxanne, it gets started again this coming up Monday. But she's the one that's been losing. Roxanne has been taking a pin. Like she's got that past like Dom had, and that's why I feel so much sympathy for Roxanne right now because she's been going through it. Senora says Dom is gonna play 2K beating Punk. Yeah, probably. Khalif says, is Liv and him working together since it's always been them against Judgment Day? I mean, they could swing that back around. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, let's. I'm gonna play a little bit more and see what this thing does, and then I'm going to get us some clues because we do have some clues, and I'm going to go into the Raw preview. Thank y'all all for hanging around. Y'all are the best. And I did see some questions last time before my connection crapped out. I apologize for that on TikTok. So I wanted to do like a audio like answering some of those questions, but I need to go pull those up. But let me see what Nina and Ryu got into. Is this a maze? Please tell me this is not a maze. Oh, cool. Now I can save. I thought I was gonna have to do a maze thing. I hate that. Hmm. Let's see. What's this? Okay. Something I thought I could. Ah, there we go. Enter it. Alright, let's do another save because you never know. You could tell I'm old school. I use all my save slots because I grew up on Sierra games. If you didn't save, you could get into a situation where you would have to backtrack a lot. The heck? Use life sandals. Look, I had a hairband? How did I put that on? Okay. Excuse me then. Alright, let's rest here. Yes, save. Yes, save. Let's see, what do we got here? A Bowie knife. Give me a got leather armor, brass helm. There we go. A part of it. Still polluted by the hex and can't be used. Hex. You heard of how towns all over the place are hexed during the war. All you need to know is that ordinary folks like you can't go anywhere near any place that's been hexed. It's too dangerous. To go to Chambla or something, you'll have to wait until the hex is gone and, hey, look how everyone's come back. Those folks that just came back are a group of purifiers. They go from town to town purifying hexes. What the heck is a hex? Answer me that. So if we want to find out more about the hex, we should ask them, right? Thank you for your help. Oh, answer my own question. Okay. So, Senora says Roxanne had a better year in 2024 in NXT. Yeah, she did. Senor says Dom's model in WWE 2K26 looks sick. Yeah, it really did too. I actually like Bianca's model too. She had the ref uniform on. Senior says maybe Dom has a chance to be qualified for EC because he didn't compete in the Royal Rumble. He might. I'd like to see him in Elimination Chamber. It'd be nice. Okay, so where did I leave off at? So I did talk about how is this hurting everybody? Like the way we're getting the Liv Rhea parallels again, even kayfabe and non kayfabe story wise. Here's what is impacting right now. Raquel at the moment has no path towards any kind of title or win, despite putting in the work. So you remember how I was saying that Raquel has nothing to show for it, but it looks like her story and her heat is going to get used for this Liv and Stephanie match. That's one thing that I don't like. Like, you know, if you're gonna be doing Liv and Stephanie, focus on Liv and Stephanie. I don't need Raquel, don't siphon off Raquel unless she's gonna be a direct impact in the story some kind of way. Roxanne, she is, just there. And like I said, hopefully she gets something started on Monday. Like that needs to get started for her on Monday. Like hopefully she's not too, I don't think she's been written off. Because I did see, or at least a friend told me that she was talking about Judgment Day. So hopefully we get something with her too soon. And with Raquel, I hope that she gets announced for Elimination Chamber. Like she needs to be in an Elimination Chamber match because they announced the SmackDown Elimination Chambers, but they didn't announce Raw just yet. I don't think. Probably Scrap Daddy Adam Pierce will announce that tomorrow. Finn has been stalled. He's doing some amazing promo work, but he is, looks like I said, it's gonna be like this speed bump between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. So they need to get either he's going to be in that match at WrestleMania or they need to kind of get Dom and Finn's storyline started, like sooner rather than later. Finn is invisible. Not Finn. I mean, JD is invisible because, he's been injured, but hopefully he gets something to do. Like, you know, put him with Raquel. Jaquel will be nice. I like it. Do that. It's something interesting. And Dom has regressed. Like it's regressed a lot. Senor, I know when we had the second slap happen, we were kind of saying like, everything has just reverted, and we were kind of like saying like, um, Liv returns and everything just went to crap like for Dom, and we were like hoping that it wasn't. Now it's just looking like more and more that it is, and I really hope this rectifies itself. Like we need the storyline needs to line up like with Dom. Like he shouldn't be in this boyfriend role. Like I don't think he should be going. Like I'm not the type of person that says that Dom needs to go solo because I think going solo in the WWE now is dangerous as fuck. But I get really tired of how he always gets put into these situations. Like when can Dom be dominant? I think that's the question that I think that's the question I've had for some of my friends. It's like, when can Dom be dominant? Like, when can he take a more dominant role? When can he be aggressor? When can he do this? And that's all I want. It's just like, let him be dominant. Like, he was being dominant down there in AAA. Like, why can't we get that in the WWE? Why can't we get that on Raw? That's all I want. But let's go into a little bit of clues that I think some people have missed. So, have y'all noticed that Dom's posting frequency has gone back to normal? And by normal, I'm talking about like he's waiting um like an hour or so to repost Liv stuff. And did you notice that he did not repost like Liv doing that Valentine's Day like ringside collectibles action figures? Like they did a Valentine's Day post using Liv and Dom, and Liv reposted it, but we didn't see Dom do that. And I checked like a couple of hours ago, he still hasn't. Like it's ignored, and that's really interesting. Also, Dom had did posted about a song called Limon y Sal. What is Limon y Sal? This is a Spanish song that has some really interesting bits to it. I'm gonna pull up the lyrics. I got this translated into English, but these are really interesting lyrics here. So for this song, here's the first and second verses. Verse one says, "I have to confess that sometimes I don't like the way you are. Lately you disappear on me, and I don't understand why." Verse 2 says, "You don't say anything romantic, and when the sun goes down, you get into a strange mood which eats full moon." Now, there's some more lyrics to that, but it's just real. Those lyrics are really, really interesting. Kind of like how people were talking about Shorty, and people are saying, well, that's about devotion. I'm like, no, that's about a side chick. So you got that, and then you got these lyrics where it's just really interesting. Like he's like Dom is noticing a change with Liv, and he's not liking it. Again, and then like I said, his repost frequency has reverted back. Like when he went through and did like all that blitz posting because he had to be the good boyfriend because he posted like he didn't trust anybody, but then now it's back to regular schedule. Like it's been like again, if he wasn't, if they didn't want to us to pay attention to his posting frequency, like he shouldn't establish like how he would post to the minute, like repost to the minute list post. Like he established that back in 2024. And even with that, it's not like I'm expecting Dom to be like to the minute um posting reposting list stuff. Like I would give it some time, like 30 minutes or so. Like if he's on certain things, like I don't expect him to like everything like some of these other posts that Liv does. I don't expect him to like that. But the storyline beats, I do expect him to do that. So when you take hours to post and then not post at all, it just really sticks out. And here again with this, it's like here Dom is doing some things on his own. You see how I'm talking about the split? Oh, also, have y'all noticed that the other couples in the WWE seem a lot more connected? Like, look at Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice right now in AAA. Like, those feel really connected. And then go back to NXT with Stax and Adriana Grace. They're hooking up with my glorious king, Lexus King, and they feel more like a couple here. Here it just feels like something has switched with Liv and Dom. I don't know what. And have you ever heard of like going through the motions? It kind of feels like that. Now I know I'm gonna be labeled as a hater for that too, but it's just how I feel on it. Like I'm not getting it. Like if you look at Adriana Grace and Stax, and you look at Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice, it's just a different energy, and I'm not getting that with Lip Dom anymore. And let's see here. And what's next for Raw? We need to see Liv and Raquel like address that elephant in the room. Like that gets tossed about. That needs to get addressed. Like personally, I just would have had like Raquel blast Liv like intentionally, not accidentally on purpose, not on accident. Just have Raquel blast Liv, declare that she's getting into the Elimination Chamber, and she's going to win it so she can challenge Liv. Now I know they're probably going to drag it out and stuff like that, but that's what I would have preferred. But they could do something with Liv and Raquel, where maybe Liv is just saying, well, hey, if you get into the Elimination Chamber and you win, you could join, go challenge Jade, and we could be, both of us could be champions. They could go that route with Liv and Raquel. For Stephanie's sake, I do hope that they do something with her, because she needs to do something. Like, either she's got to attack Liv, or she got, or maybe she starts pecking at Raquel a bit. But then again, but that brings it back to the original problem of using other people for the fuse. Like, why are you picking at other people? That's what Becky and Rhea had to do 2 years ago. So, maybe this is when we get these cracks with Liv and Dom. Maybe this is where you have Stephanie go like, hey, your boyfriend does this, your boyfriend does that, and, create that whole drama again. Also with Roxanne, like I said, she needs something to do. Like I said, if she's going to be doing something with Dom, that needs to get started. If she's not, she needs to go into the IC contention, women's IC contention, do something. And then with Finn, I'm hoping he still is over there challenging CM Punk, like, so they can get their match announced for Elimination Chamber, because it's gonna happen. And hopefully we get some kind of confrontation with Dom and Finn, and then maybe we get some confrontation, or at least some collaboration with Dom and El Grande Americano Original or something like that. Oh, Senor says, don't forget Gargano and Candice and Aleister Black and Zelina and SmackDown. Yeah, see, those are married couples, but yeah, they have they have a chemistry there. Especially Aleister and Zelina have a nice chemistry. With their um gothic vibes, their spooky couple vibes. So yeah, like, we got all these couples where it just seems like, even with Maxine and Otis, remember when, they were going kind of like with Otis and Maxine? They're probably not going to do it now, but with Otis and Maxine, that was really nice and cute with Otis. And they have, and the vibe is gone. It's just the vibe gone with Liv Dom. I don't know what it is. Jacob says, who do you have for the Super Bowl tomorrow? I'm hoping for the Seahawks because I can't stand the Patriots. And let me play a little bit more, and I think I'm going to end this. At least since everything was working properly. Oh, Khalib says Chicken Last Legend too. Like they have some nice chemistry in NXT when they allowed them to kind of interact. Now they're kind of separated, but they have some cool chemistry. You know what I've always wanted? I wanted Carmelo Hayes and Kiana Jordan to be on the main roster together, where Kiana Jordan is more like that. I keep saying it. I wanted her to be like a basketball wife to Carmelo Hayes' character when he was a heel, because I think they would have pulled that off nicely. Like they had the attitude for it, so maybe that can happen when Carmelo goes back heel later on. Not now, but maybe later. Like they can do Carmelo Hayes and Carmelo Hayes is the athlete, kind of like MVP, and then you can have Kalani Jordan be like that basketball wife type character. Khalib says if he sees that Liv is changing, why is he still with her? Cut ties and have her go baby face. Because here's the thing. Um, it could be like one of these slow burns where they want things to happen to be a big moment. Oh, that reminds me. Senor, didn't you were telling me about those interviews? What was the interview with CJ Perry? Because Liv has been doing some interviews where she's been talking about a wedding. And since we're going to be in Vegas this year, I did say this. If they want to have a really big face making moment for Liv, they can do a wedding. And we're due for a wedding to not happen, because the last successful wedding was Dexter Loomis, and Indy Hartwell. So if they want to do something where it establishes Dom as a mega heel, because he'll turn triple heel, and you want to establish Liv as a babyface and kick off this Liv Revenge Tour 2.0, which I keep saying needs some meat to it. You can't keep saying a revenge tour without any kind of substance to it. It's just an aesthetic if it is. Because right now, what she's doing to Raquel is not worthy of a revenge tour. That's just her being an ass to Raquel. So, if they really want Liv Morgan Revenge Tour 2.0 to start, you can do the whole wedding thing with Dom and Liv. So, what I would do is this. You can have Dom propose, whatever, get the proposal, maybe things are, we can see that things are changing with Dom and Liv, and then maybe you see, Dom, maybe Liv is distracted. Like, I also have like a thought that Liv is going to be so busy with being the Royal Rumble winner and chasing after Stephanie that Dom starts feeling neglected. So maybe you get like a last ditch effort, Dom proposing to Liv, and she says yeah because she's on top of the world. So she's on top of the world. Dom proposes, and she's on top of the world. Meanwhile, maybe this is where we start seeing Dom and Roxanne. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't, say that I'm just, wanting this to happen. I'm just throwing it out there as a what if. So, you know, Dom is proposed to Liv. You maybe see Dom and Roxanne in the background. Maybe we don't get enough to confirm that they're doing anything or not. So we get around to the wedding. And this is where we could do a couple of things. We can have it where they do what Triple H did to Stephanie McMahon as a callback. You remember that? Because Triple H loves his callback. So you can do Triple H and Stephanie. Maybe Roxanne marries Dom against his will, quote unquote, and then it comes out that that he was in on it. You could do something like that. I have no problem with that one. That would be actually kind of cool. Or you could do the GTB NXT Anonymous type thing where you get that hidden camera. Like, you get down to the wedding, down the aisle. Anybody wants to eject, there's no ejections. And then you play the, right before they get declared husband and wife, you get the GTV of Dom and Roxanne sneaking around doing something, and then everything falls apart because maybe that's before Liv's big match or something like that. Something drama feel. So you get the, wedding and all that, and just you get that crushing defeat where this kicks off Revenge Tour 2.0. Because you could do it where Dom is just with like Raquel and Roxanne. You could have it where Dom does this, maybe cheese, with on her with Roxanne. Raquel wins the title. Liv is down at her lowest moment. She turns face, and then she slowly recovers where she goes after Roxanne and she goes after Raquel. That's worthy of a revenge tour, in my opinion, because she was all about Dom, and then, Dom turns on her, and then, but he did it in the cruelest way possible, kind of like how he did at SummerSlam with Rhea. You can just do it, like he gets all the way down and just sets her up to fail. And I think that would actually be pretty cool. You could just do that. You sets up Liv as this baby face, and then this sets up Dom as a heel because I still think they don't want Dom to be face. They want him to stay heel for a reason. So you get a heel out of Dom. You get a heel out of Roxanne. You could get a heel out of Raquel if they want to do that. We could get a somewhat different version of Dom's Angels and go on from there. So to answer your question, Cleve, I think they could be just doing that just to draw things out. Like they drop clues. It's like how people keep. It's like, oh, another interview where Liv was saying like how she was saying that Dom views Roxanne as a sister. I'm like, these are seed plants. You don't keep bringing it up if something is going to happen in the background or something like if a storyline was dropped with the WWE, typically it's dropped. You don't hear nothing about it. Like we're not in the Vince McMahon era where he would just keep repeating things because he forgot what he booked the last week. Here, if something is dropped, kind of like how they dropped Grayson Waller and Austin Theory's bit a little bit. So you can drop, if the storyline was dropped, like Dom and Roxanne was dropped, it wouldn't keep being brought up. Like, why is Liv bringing up, oh, Roxanne and Dom, Dom thinks of Roxanne as a sister, you know? It's just something to think about here. Like, I call them seed plants. And like I said, it's kind of like how Maxine was bringing up how she wouldn't want to be involved with Dom, Roxanne, and Liv, when she was the Intercontinental Champion because Roxanne had stated her intention to be in the Intercontinental scene. These are seed plants. Khalib says, we know Dom was talking to Roxanne while she was gone. See, I keep bringing it up, but there's a reason why we haven't found out exactly what Roxanne said to Dom when she went after him to comfort him all those months ago. Remember that? Like right before Worlds Collide, like right before he became a double champion, Dom kind of ran off in a huff and then Roxanne went after him. We have yet to this day found out what they've talked about. A lot of things could have happened right there. Because afterwards we got some little shift between um, Dom and Roxanne. So this is why I say I'm just following clues. Like if the clues weren't there, there wouldn't be nothing to talk about. It's kind of like how right now there's a lot of clues between Charlotte and Alexa. I be you know would I be out my gourd if I was just saying that it looks like there's something building up between Charlotte and Alexa? You know, there's clues. And considering how the way Dom and Liv use social media, is perfectly fine to say that they are using social media to drop some clues here and there until it starts spinning up on WWE TV. But me personally, I kind of want that wedding angle because you could do so much with the angle. We haven't had a wedding in a while. The last one was Index, like I said, and I love Index to death. If y'all want to go back to NXT 2023, I want to say. Is that 23? Yeah, I think it was 2023. No, it was a little bit earlier. It was like in the pandemic era. So that was 2000. Uh, they were in the pandemic era, 2022. Anyway, it's like it's right there. Like if you go back and watch NXT in the pandemic era, and you can go watch the whole saga of Index because it is really really good, and I'm really disappointed that we did not get like any kind of divorce angle with Dexter and Indy when he went to the Wyatt Six. Like we could have had so much with like Dexter is with the Wyatt Six, but Indy is still his wife, and they could have had ran up, and then the Wyatt Six could have ran up against Johnny and Candice and Indy, and we could have had a nice little storyline there because that Indy was still his wife. Like maybe she hasn't signed the paperwork. I don't know. You could have did so much with Dexter and Indy, and I'm really sad. Oh, thank you, Senor. That was 2021. Yeah, I knew it was like 2021, 22, something like that. But we could have had so much with Dexter and Indy. Like maybe Indy wants to pull him away from the Wyatt Six. Maybe Dexter pulls Indy into the Wyatt Six. We could have had so much stuff, but Indy got released and all that. So I'm so disappointed and sad about that. Sad face. I kind of hope that if Indy comes back to the WWE, we get some kind of continuation on that, especially if Dexter is still a part of the Wyatt Six at that moment, because that storyline needs to get closed off properly. But yeah, like we're due a wedding, and they can do that. It's Vegas, and like I said, we can do a whole lot more. You can do the Triple H thing. Roxanne, make it like where Dom didn't know he was getting married to Roxanne. Go through those drive-through chapels. I don't know. Or you could just have it where you get GTV playing. I kind of want a little bit of both. Yeah, like maybe you get like the drive-through chapel where Roxanne. You know how much heat you could get with Roxanne declaring herself Roxanne Mysterio. Before Live. Like you could do so much stuff with that. She drives into the chapel. Maybe you can even do this like an obsession storyline. Like maybe Liv and Dom is still to play, but you can still do Roxanne being obsessed to the point where she does this. There's like a whole bunch of different angles you could do with something like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be cheating, but if they do go that route, you could do it like that. Roxanne, runs Dom through the drive through. She declares herself Mrs. Mysterio. Dom's upset, Liv's upset, and then later on down the line, you can either have it where it's just an obsession storyline, kind of like AJ Lee, or you could have it where Dom is just in on it, and that's his wife, and he's not divorcing her. They were tricking Liv. You could do a lot of that stuff. Or we could do GTV. GTV would be the ultimate callback because Eddie Guerrero was caught on GTV in the shower with those two women. So if they want to do GTV, you can do GTV. Heck, you could do GTV on that secret meeting, on that meeting with Dom and Roxanne, that I was referencing earlier. Like, you could do something like that. Maybe something happened there. I don't know. But there was just there's so many different ways it can go. See, yours says, how about Joe Gacy? I loved his solo run years ago. Joe Gacy is amazing. I loved his crazy act with Dijak. See, this is they could have did so much with Dijak. Dijak could have been Dom's parole officer or bounty hunter or something like that. You could have brought up Dijak like as a parole officer or bounty hunter where he's after Dom because Dom skipped bail, and here's Dijak to come after his ass. You could have did so much with Dijak, but the feud Dijak had with Joe Gacy with his crazy self, Cause this dude was he would just be laughing when he was in a straight jacket, and Dijak was dragging him along, and then we saw on social media like somehow Joe Gacy got Dijak's phone, and he's like tapping with his nose like to do a message on the X, and then Dijak's like, well, "How did he get my phone? I'll be back." He acted like he's gonna go do something to Gacy because he's gotten Dijak's phone. I like the whole storyline, so I was so disappointed that Dijak got released. But Joe Gacy had the like his little group, and Ava is no longer with the WWE, so I'm not gonna get that storyline again. But yeah, Gracie is great. I love him. Um, I don't think we ever got like Joe Gacy versus JD McDonough, because I think that match would be really interesting. Jacob says, "What are they doing with Tony D?" I wanted Tony D to get bailed out of jail by Dom. I really did. When Tony D'Angelo went to jail, I'm like, okay, Dom, here's your chance. Go down there, go bail your buddy out, bring him up as your heavy, and there you go. Here, we're never gonna get that Tony D Dom link back up again. I'm so disappointed. Um, but I do like how King looks like Lexus King is doing some second generation thing, like, or Nepo baby stable with like Adriana, and maybe do like William Regal's son, and things like that. And I think that would be really, really cool. Senior says, I want to hear Kit Wilson telling Dom he has a toxic relationship. Oh, that would be hilarious. I would enjoy that immensely. Jacob says, what are they doing to OTM? I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I'm missing anything. Kingdom has said hi. Hi, Kingdom. Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Jacob said, did I talk about the AAA show? Yeah, I did earlier. So you can see about it when this gets posted later on VOD. I did talk about the AAA show. I did talk about how Dom um, was pretty much seems like he's colluding back with El Grande Americano Original. Um, and how he was butthurt that El Grande Americano shook his deadbeat dad's hand, and I was just saying, like, Dom, what did you expect? Because you shoved El Grande Americano first. Like, if El Grande Americano shook Ray's hand and Dom hadn't shoved El Grande Americano, then I could get why Dom would be upset with El Grande. But Dom, you burnt that bridge first, my dude. Like, come on now. I love you to death, Dom, but this persecution complex could be something else. Let's see, where am I? Let's see if I can finish this little piece. I'm gonna save and stop. Actually, I think I've advanced enough. Oh, that's a good, nice explanation. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here on Breath of Fire. How about a good stopping point? Senora says OTM and Judgment Day. It wasn't a bad idea. Yeah, I said that in another lifetime, OTM would be with Dom because they had that whole Vato vibe, and they could still do that. You know, be a tag team for Dom's new group. Senora said, "Do you think Dom appearing in AAA shows when he loses the Mega Championship?" I don't know. They might stop and let somebody else come in there, like Santos Escobar. So like I don't expect Dom to hold that title much longer. He might hold that all the way up to probably WrestleMania, maybe a little bit past it, but I don't think he holds it for a whole other year. I think they want to get that belt possibly to El Grande Americano some kind of way. So, I don't think he holds that long, and he might be down there for a couple of times just to pop things, but I don't think he's gonna be super involved like he is now. Um, Jacob says, "What do you put Evil from NJPW into WWE since they are he's heading to the WWE?" I mean, that could be something cool. Khalib says, "Is Liv holding everyone back from getting gold?" See, that's another thing too. Like, where's the encouragement for Roxanne to get the Intercontinental title? I mean, she kind of guided Finn there, but that was mostly Finn going off the reservation himself and being desperate to get into a title match. So, in closing, so yes, Ryder Raven is not for Liv Dom anymore. And when I say I can't support the direction anymore, I'm not abandoning the characters. I still like Liv. I still like Dom. Love Dom. I do want Liv to get her moments. So this is not me hating on her. This is more stuff external to them. I'm just abandoning a formula that turns main event talent into accessories. Like, I don't want this for Dom. Like, Dom has proven himself with his overness. Like, he should be getting better, and he shouldn't be in a boyfriend role with a return where he gets nothing. Like, imagine if Rhea had been out and then she didn't get like her same "this is my brutality" like returns. Like when her music hits and the crowd is allowed to pop and she gets to make a save. Like, Rhea got to do that when she be out for less time. But Dom, he can't. We just get a little bit of introduction to his girlfriend and that's it. See, that's the difference here. Like Liv gets this, Rhea will get this, somebody else will get this. Like, I'm pretty sure, who else has been out on injury? Like Chad Gable's got a Royal Rumble return, um, moment with El Grande. See, that's something big for his character, but Dom couldn't get that. But yep, your girl is done. So we will see what happens on Monday. Hopefully, we do get Raquel Elimination Chamber. I'm not sure what Dom is going to do. I don't know what he's going to do at Elimination Chamber. See, that's another thing too. Like, this is where he should have been establishing himself. Now, like right now, it looks like he's established himself with the AAA, and I get that because he is the mega champion. But he needs to be doing something for the WWE too. Like, look at what Ethan Page did. Like, he went down there to AAA and he dropped the title, and he's not a double champion anymore. But he was doing stuff for AAA and NXT, and he was still looking pretty legit while doing it. Same thing with Chelsea. Now Chelsea gets treated like kind of pretty much like a jobber, but she was being important. Like, she was being involved with all these women and helping them along. So she was at least doing something. It's not like she was just in the background. Dom was in the background, and he shouldn't be like that. He's the double champ. He's Intercontinental Mega, like top titles. Like, he shouldn't be just a background character. But anyway, Um, I will be back on Monday. I am not sure. I might come back to my do this setup for TikTok Live, and I might do that. Not maybe like this setup, but something else. Because this is for my gaming. So I'm gonna bid y'all all a good night. Thank y'all all for joining me. I appreciate y'all coming with me on the journey. Even though that person said I don't have a viewers, my view count says otherwise. Um, you guys rock. And I will be back on Monday to discuss what happened on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, I'm not late, um, like it was today. But these came up with Dom that I had to see before I came on. So, night, chubby boy. Senior says I'm the future. Yeah, in the future. In the future. Bid y'all good night. I will see y'all Monday. Um, I'm gonna try to keep doing this every other Saturday. I would. So if Elimination Chamber ends up on that other Saturday, I might be able to do that live. So we'll see.